Okay, so part 2 right here, we're going to go ahead and do those two. You will need to draw some diagrams for this. In my math lab, there's only about a total of 6 problems in total that you have. Most of them are going to be calculation wise like we did in part 1, but you are going to have some of these word problems. So let's take a look at these two. And for letter A, it says a 15-foot ladder is leaning against the house with a base ladder of 5 feet from the house. How high up the house does the ladder reach? Okay, so once again, they want you to draw a diagram and use the Pythagorean Theorem to solve it. And they want you to round to the nearest tenth. So a 15-foot ladder is leaning against the house where the base of the ladder from the house is 5 feet. How high up the house does the ladder reach? So let's put ourselves in that scenario right there. So once again, we're going to have to go ahead and draw ourselves an illustration to make it a little bit easier on us. All right. So this is going to be our ladder. So just pretend that this is your ladder right there and it's leaning. Once again, the ladder was 15 feet. And since it's leaning against the wall, this has to be a perfect 90-degree angle. So this is known as your hypotenuse right there. Now it's telling that it's 5 feet away from the base of the house. So from here to here, from the base of the ladder to the base of the house right here is 5 feet. So what you're trying to figure out is how high it is. In other words, you're trying to solve for A here. So go ahead and substitute it into the Pythagorean Theorem. We don't know A, that's what we're trying to solve for. We know B, which is our base, which is 5 feet. So we're going to square that. And we're also going to square the 15. So 15 squared. So A squared, 5 feet, 5 times 5 is 25. 15 feet, 15 times 15 is 225. And then we're going to go ahead and subtract 25 from both sides. So we have A squared equals to 200. All right, so pretty cool. We're getting it straight through. Now remember, we need to go ahead and now solve for A. So we're going to have to take the square root of both sides. So the square root of A and the square root of 200. And once again, this is going to have to be an approximation here. So let's take a look at it. So we're going to take the square root of 200, and that gives us 14.142135. They want you to round to the nearest tenth, so it's that first decimal place right there. So this is approximately 14.1 feet. So that is the height right there. So once again, nothing too difficult with this section right here. Pretty straightforward problem. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at letter B, our last problem of the semester. Well, hopefully. So it says for letter B right there, it says one end of a wire is attached to the top of a 35-foot pole, and the other end is anchored into the ground 20 feet from the base of the pole. Find the length of the wire. All right. So let's draw ourselves once again a diagram. And once again, the diagrams are very useful here. So it says one end of the wire is attached to the top of a 35-foot pole. Okay, so we're going to assume that this is our pole right here. And it's 35 feet. Okay, and it's telling us that the other end is anchored to 20 feet from the base of the pole. So this is the base of the pole. So this rope is anchored 20 feet away from this. So this is 20 feet. So what they're trying to do is to figure out the wire. So this is the wire that we're looking for, the length of the wire. That is the question. Once again, what we're trying to do here is trying to figure out the hypotenuse. In other words, we're trying to figure out for C. So this should be fairly simple. So once again, start off with the Pythagorean Theorem itself. A is the height, which is 35. So you're going to square it. Same thing with the base, which is 20 feet. You're going to square it. And whatever you get for those two, you're going to add them up. So let's go ahead and do that. 35 times 35 will give us 1,225. And 20 times 20, it gives us 400. Let's add them up. So that gives you 1625. And then from there, we're going to have to take the square root of both sides. So take the square root of C squared and the square root of 1625. All right, so I put 1625 and the square root of it. Once again, we're rounding it to the nearest tenth. So it'll be that first decimal place right there. So this will be 40.3 feet. And that'll be your letter C, or your hypotenuse right there. 40.3. All right, so we're finished with the semester as far as the material is concerned. Once again, if you have questions, please contact me. You know my email, you know my cell phone. You could contact me through Blackboard. You could use my math lab, or you could message me direct to my South Texas College email address. All right.